All right, good people. So, this video doesn't have any particular structure. It's just some things I just want to talk about when it comes to dealing with all these things. But one of the main issues I want to cover, well, really, it's just all ties into one. But it's just mindset. The mindset that keeps you in the place that you're in, the mindset that is putting you down, the mindset that has you struggling. But you got to be kind to yourself. I'm not going to say nice because nice people get ran over. Be kind to yourself. Don't be too sweet. Don't be too soft on yourself when you're on this journey. But you don't want to be too hard on yourself. You don't want to beat yourself up. You got to give yourself some more credit. We just don't have things figured out. If you're watching this, I suspect you to be around the age in between 15 to 25. If you're older, still doesn't matter. But we don't have life figured out. You know what I'm saying? My 70-year-old grandparents, they still figuring out life. They tell me every day, we figuring it out, baby. You know what I'm saying? But you never figure it out. And anybody who says they haven't figured out, they are dead. They lying. They lying to you. They lying to themselves. And that's just what it is. But bottom line, we're not worried about nobody else. We're worried about ourselves. You have to fix you. You're working on you. Truly, there's nothing wrong with you, but there's something about your life that you're upset with. So realistically, we have to fix those things. But don't compare yourself to other people. Just because somebody else is doing something and you are not doing it, that doesn't mean anything. You could do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. If you have control over it, you can do it. You can achieve it. Anything outside of your control, you can't worry about that. What people think about you, that does not matter. The way people feel about you, it doesn't matter unless you care for that opinion. Now, with that being said, if the reason why they feel negatively about you is for a reason that you have no control over, of course it's going to hurt, but there's nothing you can do about that. If somebody hates you for you being real, or somebody hates you or they feel ill about you and you did nothing wrong to them, of course it hurts if you care about them, but there's nothing you can do. All you can do is control the things that you can control and be better every day. When you're on this journey, don't look at it, 10 years from now or 1 year from now. Take it one day at a time, every day. Conquer yourself every day. Win that battle every day. Write out a list of all the things that you like about yourself. Write out a list about all the things you don't like about yourself, all the things you want to change. Every day, you should be making decisions that get you closer to that best version of yourself. That's why it's important to set goals. It's important to have a target in mind. Because how could you say you were a good shooter, or you were shooting basketball? How could you say you're a good shooter if there was no goal to shoot the ball into? There was no hoop for the ball to fall into. You would just be shooting in the air and there's nothing to kind of, mark your progress. There's nothing to claim. There's no reason for you to claim to be accurate if there's no target. So at the same time, there's no reason for you to beat up on yourself if you don't have a target. You need to establish a target. You need to have some goals, and they need to be good goals. They need to be realistic goals. They need to be things that you can achieve in a short period of time, an intermediate period of time, and a long period of time. Like I said, the biggest one for me was starting off with just winning every day, simply every day, because that's all we have. We don't have tomorrow and we don't have yesterday. We experience everything as today. So why not only worry about today? Prepare for your future, embrace your future, learn from your past. You know what I'm saying? Embrace your past and be thankful for those experiences, good, bad, and ugly, because they all teach us something. But it's all about taking everything one day at a time. I do this little silly exercise, and you could do this too if you ever get into the situation where you feel like you're being controlled by your urges. If you feel like you're feeling depressed or you're anxious about something, literally announce your footsteps. I could be driving, I'll announce my hand taps, or I'll move my fingers, but I move left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I might even go left, left, right, right. But I'm announcing what's going on in the present moment. I'm not thinking 25 steps from now, is it going to be right? 25 steps back, was it left or right? I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm right here, right now. I'm dealing with everything. Stop giving yourself problems that you don't have, and stop worrying about things that you cannot control. Of course, it's hard. You're human and you have a brain that is so strong that it's weak. Of course, you're going to have issues. Of course, you're going to go through things. Of course, you're going to struggle. But if you want it, if you want to achieve something, you got to go through the fire. You got to walk through the fire. You have to go back into the fire and see what's fueling that fire. Was it some type of trauma? Was it, the lack of a relationship? Is it because you feel lonely? Is it because you're stressed out? You need to find out what it is in your life that's making you feel the way you feel, and making you choose the things that you do in your life. Where are your decisions being influenced from? And when you go back into that fire, it's gonna burn. It's gonna hurt. There's gonna be a lot of smoke in there. You're not really gonna be able to see very clearly. Sometimes we know exactly why that fire is being fueled, and sometimes we don't want to go back into that fire because we tried so hard to run away from it. But what you don't realize is when you're running away from your fire, when you're running away from your trauma, there's a gasoline trail that you're leaving behind. That fire just keeps on running, keeps on running. And when you lay down at night, it comes to get you. When you stress out, it comes to get you. When you go through situations that remind you of those situations, it comes to get you. When you go through situations and people challenge you, your traumas and all that comes to get you. But when you turn around and you go back and you go to extinguish that fire, you become the firefighter, of course you're going to get burned. But there's certain protections, there's things you can wear to help you in the aid of fighting this fire, but you have to extinguish it. Nobody else can. They can give you the supplies, they can help you blow out a few flames, but the flame is inside of you. Nobody can reach inside of you if you don't allow them to. But the main thing is you allowing it to. You need to allow, people to help you. You need to be vulnerable so that people can help you, but most importantly, so you can help yourself. Because when you push these things down, when you push these traumas down and you run away from your problems, they just snowball. And the bigger they get, the harder they're going to crush you, the worse it's going to be when it actually hurts you. So it's important for you to face your demons. It's important for you to sit in that room alone. It's important for you to sit in that room and be bored, learn how to embrace boredomness. Sit there and not scroll on your phone. Sit there and get away from the things that trigger you, whether that be people, places, or activities, things you hear, see, whatever. Whatever experiences trigger you or trigger a negative reaction out of you, you need to identify those things, analyze them, and stay away from them. But at the same time, at some point, you're going to have to walk close to that fire and build the resilience not to be burned. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to be around negative people or toxic people, yes, remove yourself from those situations, but also learn how to navigate through those people. Learn how to not give those people your attention and your energy. The same way with bad habits and things like that. Yes, you abstain from them, you get away from them, but learn how to sit in a room with them. Learn how to not feed into that. Learn how to not give those things your energy, because once your energy is consumed, there's this never-ending loop that keeps on going, even when you don't think about it. And everything you do, it leaves an imprint on you, believe it or not. From the smallest minute things, it's always going to leave an imprint on you. You are a canvas and you will forever be painted. That's just the way life is. But bottom line, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your goal is, you always have to remind yourself of why you're doing something. It is important to have a why. Your why is not going to last every second of the day. You're not going to think about your why every second of the day. But it's a target to get you back on track. Just like I said earlier, how could you say you're a good shooter if you never had a hoop to put the ball in? How could you say that your rifle is on sight if you're not aiming at anything? You have no reference point. That's why it's important to have your why. If you go around through life and you don't have a reason to do things, whenever your motivation runs out, or whenever times get tough and you don't feel like doing something, you have no reference point. You have nothing to motivate you to do anything. You're not tracking your progress, so you don't see what's going on. But if you had children, if you had a wife, if you had a family or somebody depending on you, that will make you get up and go. Imagine if you worked the nastiest job or you did the nastiest thing and it was just terrible for your mental health. But if you didn't go do that, your kids would starve, your wife would starve, your family would die out. I believe, with better judgment, I believe you would go work that job and you would be miserable. Now, am I saying that's the healthiest thing ever? Absolutely not. But it proves the point that you're willing to do things that you don't want to do, that literally make you miserable for the people you love. And one of those people, most importantly in your life, is yourself. So when it's something that you want to do and it's something that you want to achieve, you have to have that same mentality. Treat your dreams, your visions, yourself, that love as a child. Protect the child, your inner child. Never let that child die. You are your family first. Your family comes from you. You meet your wife, you meet your partner. If you're a lady, you meet your husband. You choose your partner, and then y'all build a family. Whatever y'all create, you had to be a part of building that. So look at yourself as your future, as your legacy. You have to protect that legacy. So no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what it is that you want to achieve, remind yourself of your why. My legacy, I'm protecting my legacy. I'm protecting my child. I'm protecting everything that I stand for. And every decision I make has to lead me closer to this. Because if we spin it the other way, if there's something I don't want to be, but every decision I make is bringing me closer to that, you're going away from your purpose. You're going away from who you are. And it's all about establishing that love and compassion for yourself. And a lot of people who are going through things feel like they don't love themselves. A lot of people who are traumatized by things feel like they don't love themselves. But if you're watching this video, you had to love yourself. You cared enough to check on yourself. You cared enough to try to improve yourself. If you searching up a video on how to love yourself or how to fix this or how to fix that, that's self-love. Because if you didn't care about yourself, you wouldn't be watching this. If you didn't care about yourself, you wouldn't be seeking a certain feeling or a certain love or a certain understanding, because you would not care. You're not neglecting yourself though. You love yourself. You probably don't understand love, or you probably don't have a idea of love, or you may be searching for the identity of love or what that means to you. Now just talk to people, figure out what it is that they believe it is, and through talking to people and learning and listening to other people's experiences, it kind of helps you develop your own things. It's like if you didn't know what job you wanted to work and you ask a bunch of people, say, hey man, what you do for work? He's like, man, I'm a plumber, I make good money, but I hate it. And then you talk to another dude, it's like, bro, I'm a car salesman, I make a lot of money, but the hours are crazy, but I love my job, man, I love cars. And then another dude, he works in a restaurant, he's like, man, the restaurant is pretty busy, I do get good tips, but you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. And then you see another dude, he works at a grocery store and he's content, but he doesn't make enough money. And when you listen to all these things, you're like, I could do that, but I don't want to do that. I like this and this and that, but I like this and this and that. And all these things are going to start to cling to you. And through hearing other people's experiences and seeing the differences in people's lives, you're going to see the things that resonate with you. And that's how you find your identity, outside of you doing things for yourself, outside of you trying things for yourself. You're just getting different perspectives. You're hearing different things. Those are experiences. That is wisdom you gaining because you listen and you retaining that knowledge. You're being a sponge. You got to soak up what's around you, good, bad, and ugly. That's why it's important for you to have a good environment. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you need to surround yourself around people and things that are going to push you. You have to be open-minded and open and receptive to the things around you. That's why it's important to have a great environment. You want to be a sponge and not a brick. A sponge would absorb much more water in a sink than a brick would in the ocean. So if you are open and receptive, it doesn't matter if you get this much information or this much information. You will take that in and you will be able to use that. But I don't care if somebody gave you a whole library that was the size of the earth. If you are a brick, you're not going to absorb that water. You're just going to sink to the bottom and crumble eventually. Be the sponge, soak up your environment, surround yourself around good people. And one of those people that you need to surround yourself around that is very good for you is yourself. Nobody knows you better than you. Nobody knows what makes you tick like you do. Nobody knows the thoughts that creep into your mind at 3 a.m. and you can't expect people to. You can't expect people to understand you because sometimes you don't even understand you. So why would you be upset that some people don't understand you when you don't understand yourself sometimes? And that's fine. But I tell you, one thing that makes us confused about who we are is the fact that we don't separate the levels of our brain. A lot of us think that we are one part. It's just us and brain. It's our body and brain, or two parts, however you want to put it. But your brain is so complex, you don't even realize it. Most people think that they are their thoughts, they are their desires and all this and that, but that's not true. Because you perceive those things. I've mentioned this before. If you close your eyes and think about your next thought, you feel it's like this light bulb almost shining on your brain, like, where's the next thought? That's because you aren't your thoughts. You aren't your desires. Your thoughts and desires come into your brain based off the things you've been through. That's why they influence a certain way. That's why they feel a certain way. That's why when you break up with your girlfriend and you see those flowers, you think about it. But you aren't those thoughts. They are a part of you. Some of it is not. Some of it is just stuff you done heard in the background. All those times you passed by the TV and there was things playing in the background, all those things go into your brain and, get marked on the subconscious. But that's why it's important for you to understand that you are the overseer of everything. You are the captain of your soul. You get to choose how things go. I cannot control what goes into my head and my brain. I cannot control what bird flies over my head, but I can control whether it lays a nest or not. Same thing with life. You are in control. Even when you feel like you aren't in control, even when you are not in control, you are in control. Because if you're not in control, you have given up control, and that is control. You are in control of way more than you think. Now, what really trips people out is that they feel like they're not in control because something is being held over their head. I can't quit my job because I have bills. True enough. I can't do this because of this. True enough. But the thing is, you could if you really wanted to, but you're not willing to deal with the consequences. And now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I would quit my job if it was my only form of income and I wanted to lose my house. Of course I did. But if I really didn't want to work that job, I could quit and go live on the streets. I'm not saying that's the best idea, but I'm just giving you ideas of how much control you actually have in this world. If you want to drive your car off a bridge, you could do that. If you wanted to climb a tree and then cut it down and then eat it, you could. Is that the best idea? Absolutely not. But I'm just letting you know how much control you have. So when you understand that, you really sit there with yourself and realize, what consequences are you willing to deal with? Are you willing to maybe risk, losing something or somebody? Or are you willing to risk your sanity, your peace, your frame of mind? That goes with your decisions too. When you're falling into those traps of consuming that cheap dopamine and letting that cheap dopamine influence you and motivate you to do things that you're not proud of, is it more important to you to get a little comfort, to get a little convenience? Or is it more important to you to become the best version of yourself? Is it more important for you to put miles in between you and the part of you that you don't want to be, while accepting who you are and what you do? Embracing it too, but also understanding that that's not all you are, and that's not what you want to be, and that's not what you want to do. And while doing those things, it may not be something that you are happy with, or it's something that you're not happy with, but that doesn't mean you're less than anybody. We all make mistakes. We all do things that we're not proud of. But we still got people that love us. And if you feel like there's nobody that loves you, you love you. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to find somebody that loves you if you're willing to. If you're willing to work on yourself. If you're willing to go out and meet people and talk to people and reach out and shake hands and reach out and give hugs and share yourself with people. It's a lot of lonely people out here that just want somebody to talk to. They want to feel relatable. And you are one of those people. I'm one of those people. I feel crazy a lot of the times because people don't understand me, and that's cool, because I don't understand a lot of people. I try to, but I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody can work a job and be miserable their whole life and complain about it. I know why, but I don't understand it. I don't feel that connection to it. Would I do it if I had to? If I had people depending on me, of course I would. But I would always be trying to put eggs in my basket and making sure that I can get away from that, because freedom is my big thing. At the core of who I am a free bird. I'm a free bird. I can have the biggest cage in the world, but just because I know that it's a cage, that makes me sick. That's why I can't work the normal job. I can't do certain things that make me feel in prison. It's not true to who I am, and it's abrasive to my soul. So learn who you are. Learn what's important to you. Every decision you make, remind yourself of those things. Remind yourself of the people that love you. Remind yourself of your legacy. And keep going. Consistency is key in anything you want to do. You have to keep going. You got to push through. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. You're going to be motivated one day. Everything is going to be good. It's 3 a.m. You want to do 1,000 push-ups and you want to hang off your ceiling. Everybody wants to do that. And then when the morning comes, you're going to be unmotivated. You're not going to want to get out of your bed. Your mind is going to tell you things. You're going to keep procrastinating. But you got to push through. You got to remind yourself every day. You got to lie to yourself. You got to be delusional. You love yourself. You care about yourself. You have good habits. You are on the path to being exactly what you want to be. You are what you want to be. Life just got to catch up. You got to tell yourself those things. You got to be that beacon of hope for yourself, because nobody else is. Nobody understands you like you. Nobody is up at 3 a.m. alone with you. Nobody is in your head with you. You are with you. When you die, it's just going to be you in the casket. And while you're living, it's just you here. Of course, you can surround yourself with people, but you can still feel lonely in a crowd. You know what I'm saying? And you can be by yourself and not feel lonely. It's different levels to it, but you got to be there for yourself. And I encourage you to learn how to be in solitude and be at peace, but also learn how to interact with people, because as much as I love my solitude, I love to be around good people. Do I still need my solitude? Of course I do. But it's something about being around good people. It's something about having another opinion, even if you don't want it, for the sake of it changing your opinion. You just want to hear indifference. You just want to hear another person talk. You just want to communicate with another person. It's important for you to get out and try to seek those relations, seek those bonds, and actually have some substance in your life. But at the end of the day, man, no matter what you're going through, the sun is going to rise again. You get another chance. I don't know what you believe in, and it doesn't matter. Because whatever you believe in, even if you didn't believe in anything, someone believed that you deserved another day, and you are here today. But that doesn't mean every day is promised. That's why you have to live every day like it's your last. That's why you have to live your life as if nothing could go wrong, but at the same time, protecting yourself. You're not naive. You're not stupid. You're not just riding around with no seatbelt on. You put your seatbelt on. But you don't put a seatbelt on because you want to crash. You put it on because things can happen. But at the same time, you might push the gas down a little bit. You might live a little bit, have a little fun, go a little crazy. So live your life like it's your last day. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might not wake up in the morning, because if you die with all those dreams on your pillow and you didn't achieve those things because you were afraid, that's your soul that's getting eaten up by that. I don't know what happens after death. I have my theories, but that's just my take on it, man. If you couldn't fail, and if fear and anxiety and those things weren't a factor in your life, what would you do with your life? Now you answer that question, why not? Why not just try? Why not overcome those fears? Why not overcome that anxiety and try? Give yourself a shot. You weren't good at everything you did. You didn't even know how to use a fork and a spoon. You didn't even know how to walk. Now look at you. You know how to talk. You know how to walk. You know how to move. I don't know what state you're in, but whatever it is, you were bad at something at one point in time. You were scared of something at one point in time, but you tried. Children are pure. You mean to tell me the child version of you is more brave than the grown-up version of you? Most people might think like, no, or they might take offense to that, but I really don't, man. Children are pure. You literally know nothing. You're innocent. You're a blank canvas, and you just trying stuff, and that's how you get your experiences. But it's amazing how much you can learn from just life, from children, from nature. Like I mentioned, whatever you believe in, something believes that you deserve another day. You're here watching this right now. That's a blessing itself. That's a beautiful thing itself. The sun goes down every day, but it comes up every morning. The sun has the most substance in the universe. In the universe, it gives life to everything, but it can also burn the hell out of everything. Powerful, double-edged sword. But with something being so bright, something that can literally, in its presence, light up the entire side of the world, and in its absence, make everything dark. That same source of energy, that same beam of light, even it hides behind the clouds some days. So why are you so hard on yourself? The sun hides behind the clouds some days. And you're hard on yourself for what? Because you're comparing yourself to somebody else. You're consuming content thinking that something is wrong with you, and there's something, that's supposed to fix you, and you're consuming these things thinking that there's a one-size-fit-all formula that fixes all people, like there's something really wrong with you. You're human, and you're a young human at that. You can be 100 years old and you're still gonna be young because you're a baby according to time. Our lifespans are like this according to time. We won't have it all figured out. You learn something new every day. But success comes in you not quitting. Success comes from you not giving up. And that's just the biggest challenge I have for you. To never give up, to remind yourself of the things that are important to you. Open up and help people if you can. If your cup is empty, fill your cup first. I've been there, I've done that. I've exhausted myself. Used all my resources trying to help people. And I had none of my own, or I had very minimal. And that made me tired, in a way that I had to sleep and rest and recover myself for at least a month and a half to finally start feeling better. A tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. A hunger that food doesn't fix. A headache that no amount of medication, no amount of food and nourishment can fix. Because your brain is just hurting you, exhausted, you tired. But it's because you didn't love yourself, you didn't care for yourself, you didn't take care of yourself, you didn't give yourself enough. Of course it's gonna hurt. You poured from that empty cup. And as if it wasn't already empty, now you've shattered it. Now you gotta get a new cup. Try it all again. You might have the one you already have and it has broken pieces. You gotta tape them back up and glue them back up, but it's still not the same. But that doesn't mean you have to quit. Bottom line. You can take that glass, you can melt it down and make another piece of, another glass. You can take that beat up metal, you can melt it down and mold it into something else. Walk into the fire, Find out what it is that makes you tick. Find out who you are. Take some time to learn yourself. Try a bunch of things. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want to do, if you don't know your purpose, cool. If you're lost, that's the greatest opportunity for you to be found. Simply, I don't have it all figured out. I have a good idea of who I am and what I want, but I don't know everything. I'm discovering new parts of myself every day. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you and myself. But if you are confused about who you are, and what you want to do, just try a bunch of stuff and take note of the things that you like. Take note of the things that you don't like. And inside of those things, there's going to be things that you do like. Let's say you was playing a particular sport. Let's say it was football, and you like the fact that you could run around and basically challenge people to a speed race, but you didn't like getting hit. Run track. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you like the fact that you're running, against people in track, but you don't like the fact that it's on some type of field, some type of carpet, some type of turf, whatever the material you want to call it. You don't like that. So then you try cross country, and now you basically running track. You're running these long distances through woods and stuff, and that's what you like. But it's all because you try different things. How do you know you don't like cooking food if you've never tried to cook a meal? How do you know you don't like instruments if you never tried to play them? Try things. Get an idea of who you are. That's what we're here for. The purpose is just to find who you are and be that. If I wake up tomorrow and I want to be a police officer, I'm going to do that. But if I wake up 3 days from then and I want to be a chef, I'm going to do that. But at the end of my life, the legacy I want to leave behind is a great example of what life is supposed to look like. But not in a way like I have to live my life like Shaman. Not in a way that you take my life and try to copy and paste it, but you see the example of me unapologetically being myself, not caring what people think, just living life the way I want to, as long as it doesn't hurt people. That's what life is about, just being free in who you are, accepting all you are and what you do, owning everything you do. Even if you out here doing some foul stuff, at least own it. Don't be lying, don't be, fraudulent and, I don't do that, and, behind closed doors you out here doing something. Be proud of who you are. That's why it's important to be nice. That's why it's important to be kind. That's why it's important to be a good representation of a person. Because you should own your crap, no matter what it is, no matter the quality of it. Own it. If you're going to do it, stand on it. Simple. So, I appreciate y'all for listening to me out. I just, I wanted to leave y'all with some form of information, some type of, just something, man. Something to help everything stick. So, I hope all is well. I hope you're doing all right. I hope life is treating you well. If you feel like life is beating on you pretty bad, it's cool. Because when that happens, the only way to go is up. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you fail, okay. In order to fall, you had to be sitting up on something, or at least standing up. So get back to that. You remember the highs in your life, you remember the lows in your life. If you're going through a lot of lows, there's a high coming. When I was going through the worst of my worst, I felt like a little lunatic. Because I was going through stuff, man, I'd probably get done crying, probably get done doing whatever. And I just, yep, it won't be long. It wasn't long. You know what I'm saying? I believed in myself. I put in the work, took advantage of my opportunities, and I turned all those negative emotions into something positive. It's all just energy at the end of the day. But what will you do? Things are going to go wrong in your life. But what will you do? Things are going to go right in your life. But what will you do? The world you live in is right between your ears. The way you see the world is the way you see yourself. So if you want a better world, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change.